Hello and welcome to Rathod's IAS. Today in this video, we are going to see current affairs of 26 July 2023. So before seeing the analysis, please take out a pen and paper so that you can note down the important points. And wherever I am discussing which is important from prelims and mains, so try to make a note so that will be helpful for your future. So the first topic we are going to discuss, it is about gig workers. So in yesterday's lecture itself, we had introduction regarding this topic. So what is this topic all about? Can you recall something? So this topic, it is about Rajasthan passed bill. So this bill which provides what? This bill provides social security for this gig or platform workers. Gig or platform workers. So here you have to know what is that bill exactly. So what is the need of this bill, and you have to see what are the important provisions of that bill. So what things they are going to do under this bill. So this topic is important from your economy. So why economy? So we're talking about economy, we will be reading separate chapter, that is employment. So in this employment, we will be having organized sector and unorganized sector. So mostly 90% of our Indian economy which comes under this unorganized sector. And one of such example here is gig or platform workers. And these gig or platform workers or entire this unorganized sector, they will not enjoy any social security benefits. So this bill which addresses social security for this gig and platform workers, and this topic is important from your economy, and you can get both prelims based and mains based questions from this bill. So please be prepared. And next topic is moving away from take, make, dispose model. So here we have to understand what is a take, make, dispose. For example, if you want a thing that to be used. For example, you want a wooden sofa. So I am taking example of a wooden sofa. So how can we make this wooden sofa? So we will be cutting down the tree and we will be taking the wood. And from that wood we will make this sofa. And how many years you will use that? For example, you will be using that 5 to 7 years. So after 5 to 7 years, you are going for dispose. You are going for the dispose. So in this, if I am talking about this wooden, so it can be not causing any damage to our environment. But in the same case, if I am talking about a plastic bottle, so we are using polymers, okay, PET. And by using that PET, we will be making bottle. And in this bottle, for example, we will be using that bottle for the coconut water. So even if you want to bring 1 liter of coconut water, you will be getting that in the plastic bottle. Or if you want to have some entertainment, and you will be getting thumbs up, Coca-Cola, like that, right? So that will be also available in the plastic bottles. And even now water which became a big business. So filtered water will be also available in the plastic bottles. And in that plastic bottle, if you see the disclaimer, okay, so on that plastic bottle there will be a ramper. So that ramper says that crush the bottle after the use. I think many of you might even crush that, right? So that means it comes in dispose. For example, if you are taking a village, if there is a small function in that village, so if they are giving plastic water bottles to all the people, so how many plastic bottles will be disposed there? They will be crushed, right? So there will be like 500 to 100,000 bottles. So now you can imagine how much environmental pollution it is causing. So it is leading to plastic pollution, right? So here you know that India is enjoying presidency of this G20 summit. So here in this context, we are moving away from take, make, dispose to reuse, okay, recycle, reduce, reuse and recycle. So this concept is very important for the sustainable environment. So here we have to understand what are the key drivers that will leads to this reduce, reuse and recycle. So there are 4 things that we have to discuss about them, and we are going to see them detailedly. So I hope you understand this story, right? So this topic is important from your environment and ecology, and this topic is also important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. Okay, so this is important from both your environment and ecology and as well as international relations. And next topic is welcome happening. So this article which is talking about community infection health studies, CIHS. So in yesterday's lecture we discussed introduction regarding this community infectious health, infectious diseases study. So what happened in our community, in our society, infectious diseases are increasing, and out of 100 percentage, so here 30% of diseases which are mainly caused by, or 30% of deaths or morbidity or mortality which is caused by these infectious diseases. So there is a need of community based studies. So here you have to understand what exactly this community based health studies, and here you have to see about what are the advantages and what is the need of this study. So we need to have a detailed analysis, and this topic is important from your health point of view, and even this studies which also comes under science and technology, because in science and technology, so if you want to go for development of any treatment or any new drug, so we will go for clinical trials. So we will be having phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. I think it has been long back you have came across this clinical trials. Okay, so we discussed about this clinical trials during this development of vaccine for this COVID-19. So try to revise that. Okay, so this is your homework. And next topic it is about Himachal Pradesh floods. It is a man-made disaster or not? So let me know your opinion whether it is a man-made disaster or a natural disaster. So now we are seeing that because of climate change, so there is a change in the pattern of rainfall, and because of this monsoon and western disturbances together, so that led to torrential rainfall in northern part of our country. So this thing that you know. So now this article says that it is not only a natural disaster, but even we can consider this Himachal Pradesh floods as a man-made disaster. There are some anthropogenic causes. So the causes they were highlighted here is like developmental projects, so development of Himachal Pradesh, and after liberalization, that is in 1991 we came with LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. So this LPG also have impact on this Himachal Pradesh floods now. Okay, so we can link that. So this article is important from your disaster management point of view, which comes in the GS paper 3. So whenever we are talking about any disaster, so we have to understand what are the causes for that disaster. So in these causes, so we can add both man-made causes and as well as natural causes. Okay, so here we are going to see what are the natural causes and what are the man-made causes, and why this Himachal Pradesh floods is called as a man-made disaster now. So we have to understand that point of view as well. And next one is Lok Sabha passes contentious biological diversity bill. Yes, now what happened? Monsoon session is going on. Everyone know that. You, me and even 10th class students who are watching the television news, so they know that yes, monsoon session is going on. So in this monsoon session, opposition party people, they are doing protest. Why? Because of Manipur violence issue. So even though despite of this opposition party doing protest, so this biological diversity, that is biodiversity bill, had been passed in Lok Sabha. So here you have to know what are these changes which are going to be made to this Biodiversity Act of 2002, and what are the benefits if we are coming up with amendments to this act. So this topic is again important from your polity and also from your environment and ecology point of view. So why I am saying this is important from polity? So in polity, in parliament chapter in your Lakshmikant, so you can see what is the procedure for the passage of bill. So first it will be introduced and they will be go for DDV, that is debate, discussion, voting, and after that whenever the bill is passed, that will be introduced in the second house. In the second house also the same procedure will go on. That will be boring, that is discussion, debate and as well as voting, and once it is passed, then that bill will be placed before president for the assent, and if assent is given by president, then that bill will going to become an act. right? So you have to see the procedure of the passage of the bill from this context. And next, if you see from environment and ecology, so this Biological Diversity Act of 2002 is very important, and you have to know exactly what were the provisions under that act. Okay, and next one is IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. So this International Monetary Fund is in use, and there are 2 articles are there regarding this IMF. So your homework is you have to see some GK, that is general knowledge related things regarding IMF, when it is formed, okay, everything. So that is your homework, and let me know in the comment box. And one more thing, I'm very glad to say that I got a lot of replies regarding the answers for the questions I asked in yesterday's lecture. So thank you so much for your support. So whenever I'm asking a question, try to give me the reply, okay, so that it will be encouraging me to ask more and more questions, so that it will be beneficial for you. And students like Nawaz and Lakshman, I got good answers from you students. So keep it up and keep rocking. Okay. So here title says IMF, India's rice curb could spur inflation. So this article is important because recently our government of India took a decision that to ban non-basmati rice exports to other countries. But if you see here, India is the largest producer of rice and even largest exporter of this rice to the other countries. But what happened now, because of some uncertainties in India, in agriculture pattern in India, what happened? So this decision, it is taken by government to maintain the price stability in the domestic market. So here you have to understand one concept. So I will be trying to make a story here again. For example, this is a farm. Okay, for example, this is a farm of this farmer here. So this farmer, he will be producing, for example, 10 bags of rice. So if he is getting 10 bags of rice, only 2 bags of rice is enough for this so and so person for his survival. So rest 8 bags. So rest 8 bags he will be selling in the market. But what happened due to some uncertainties? So this farmer, he produced now only 2 bags of rice. So this 2 bags of rice is enough for his survival. So there is no extra amount. So what happened? So this farmer, he will be not selling the rice in the market. So the same thing which happened in India now. So here what happened? There is a decreased production. So because of this decreased production, what happened? So already there is increased demand in our country because of increasing of population day by day. So increasing of lifestyle modification. So people, they are not taking this millets, they are moving towards this rice. So because of increased demand, what happened? So there is decreased production on another side. So that will lead to increasing of price in the market. So to control the price in the market, here government earlier used to export this rice to other countries, but now government took the decision that we are not going to export this non-basmati rice to the other countries. So what happened? So what will be the impact? The countries which already dependent on India for this rice, so they will be facing the crisis. That means there will be increasing of food insecurity in the other countries, and that will also leads to increasing of price of rice in the international market. That will lead to global inflation. So this will be the impact. Okay. So these are the topics now we are going to discuss. So let us see the first topic. So already we discussed this. Some students, they might be feel that already we discussed this, already we know this topic. So why to read again? So why ma'am is discussing? So even though if you know that topic also, try to listen that, so that it will be helpful for long standing memory, and even it will be helpful for your revision itself. So finally it will be benefiting for you. Okay. So I want to motivate the students to revise the things, and whenever there is an opportunity that to revise the things, I will be utilizing that opportunity for the revision purpose, because revision will be helpful and revision is the key. So how many times you are revising the topics, that much beneficial for you people, because it will lead to the long standing memory. So here this article which is talking about the bill which passed by Rajasthan. So what is the context? Yes, you will be thinking that yes, I already know the topics, right? So I want to give you one task for the students who know this topic. So don't read the article. So try to close the article and keep newspaper before you and take out your pen and try to write what will be the points that you are expecting to be there in that article. So after writing 4 to 5 points and try to read the article and check whether what are the points you wrote they are present in that article or not. So if not, which points they are present in that article, try to make a note and try to see whether your ideas are matching with that article or not. Okay, so this is the one game that you can play whenever you are writing, whenever you are reading editorials, so that what happened, the thinking power in you will be increased and even you can gain some more perspectives regarding that topic, right? So this article which is talking about the Rajasthan platform based Sikh workers registration and welfare act 2023. So here, day before yesterday, that is on July 24th, Rajasthan's chief minister came up with one initiative and state assembly also passed this bill. So which is that bill? Rajasthan's platform based Sikh workers registration welfare act of 2003. So here the Rajasthan, it became the first state. So which is the first state? That is, Rajasthan has become the first state in the country to pass a bill for the welfare of lakhs of gig workers who are earning their livelihood through online platforms. Okay, so Rajasthan now became the first state in the country to pass the bill. So this will be also a prelims based question, or if you are writing any other state public service examinations, so you can expect this question. So which is the first state? That is Rajasthan. And if you are seeing about the what are the key points under this bill, so here there are number of people who are working especially in this online platforms like Ola, Swiggy, Uber, Zomato, etc. So this is the gift from the state government for these people who are working in these platforms. So here under this bill it said about establishment of a board, that is Gig Workers Welfare Board. So this will be established under this act. So along with this, here Rajasthan's platform based Sikh workers social security and welfare fund will be constituted. So what will be constituted? The first one is we will be having a board and second one is we will be having a fund. So what is the work of this board? So this board will ensure the registration of these workers, and not only registration, it will also monitor the schemes for the social security of the registered workers, and it will be also give its recommendations to the state governments for the administration of such schemes. And if you're talking about the board will also ensure the Zig workers, they will have access to the benefits and also they will be having the better working conditions. And what this board will do, so this board will also ensure that time-bound redressal grievances are happening. And for the registration of the Zig workers, the aggregator will make the database for the Zig workers who are available to the state government within 60 days. So here we will be also having aggregator, and aggregator will be making the database. So in this database, they will be registering the details of the Zig workers, and they will be available within 60 days of implementation of this act. And state government, they will be also publishing the register of these aggregators on the web portal, so that we will be having the access to the details of this Zig workers who are working. And even here this act, it is also trying to provide benefits to these people. So they are going to provide social security benefits, okay, under the social security schemes of the government. And actually here Zig workers will be also taken into account in the decision making process also. So in this way it will be ensuring the welfare of the Zig or platform workers. So why we need this type of act? So first one is there is a huge scope of employment under this online platforms, and even what happened, especially the people who are with low skill, they will be working in this Zig economy, and even there is a lot of scope of employment opportunities. And actually this Zig or platform workers, they yet come under the ambit, but there is no proper implementation of policies regarding this. So because of this, here we need to protect these gig workers or platform workers as well. So here we have to address the grievances of these gig workers as well. And this act will protect the interest of gig workers, and that will also helpful them to provide the social security as well. So this is the need why we need this type of acts. And let me know whether this type of acts we have to come all over the India or not. So what is your opinion based on this act? So now let us try to see the next topic. It is about take, make, disposal model. So moving away from the take, make, disposal model. So this article is also exclusively important. So here we are moving from this take, make, disposal to reduce, reuse and recycle model, that is 3R. So it is not R movie, okay. So it is reduce, recycle and reuse model. So here we have to see this article in a great detail so that you can get a lot of insights regarding this. And here we can also connect the lot of programs which we came up, that is not you and me, it is Government of India came up regarding this moving towards reduce, reuse and recycle model. So how it is helpful for sustainable environment. So if we are talking about resources, so resources are very important. Okay, so resources are very important, and resource efficiency and circular economy, they are powerful strategies that can effectively minimize the dependence on natural resources and will be also helpful for curtailing of waste and encourage the sustainable design practices. If you're talking about resources, resources are very important for the economic development of country. So even though if the country is having the good resources, so if they're not utilizing that resource efficiently, then that will be not leading to the economic development. So this is a thing that is seen in the case of Africa, right? So despite of having lot of resources, so Africa is not much developed. So if you're talking about here in resources, we will be having natural resources and also man-made resources. So here we are going to talk about natural resources. So natural resources are very important, and we have to go for judicial use of this natural resources, and we have to curtail the waste, and we have to ensure that sustainable design practices are there so that there will be limited wastage of this natural resources. Because if you are going for exploiting of natural resources, that will lead to the end of that, because they are not like renewable, right? So here G20 organization, which recognized what is the need for switching from this take, make, dispose to reduce, recycle and reuse model, and India in this context prioritized resource efficiency and circular economy. And there are 4 important areas that we have to focus to shift from take, make, dispose to reduce, reuse and recycle model. So first one is we are going to focus on the steel sector. And second one is we have to focus on extended producer responsibility, and we have to focus on circular bioeconomy, right? And we have to focus on industry-led resource efficiency. So these are the 4 important areas. So if we're talking about first one, what is the steel? Yes, without steel we can't go for infrastructure. But especially nowadays, we are focusing on development. So if we want to go for development, if we want to go for model city, building of model cities, we need to have iron and steel, right? But here what happened, if we want to go for production of iron and steel, we need to use coal a lot. So this iron and steel, it is one of the important sector that is leading to the lot of emissions into atmosphere. And if you see here, we are also having ambition, that is to achieve net carbon neutrality. So carbon neutrality or net zero emissions. So if you want to achieve that, it cannot be done by limiting the use of this iron and steel sector. So this is the one important thing. And next one is we have to focus on the recycling, bioeconomy and biofuels. So here we have to go for effective implementation of extended producer responsibility. So what exactly this extended producer responsibility is? For example, we have a company. Yes, if you are reading, while reading you will be eating like biscuits or chips. Especially I used to eat Lays a lot. Okay, for example, let us take this is a Lays company. So Lays company is producing Lays in different flavors like tomato, salted, American onion flavor, and also masala flavor, right? So I like green Lays. Okay, so I don't know which Lays you like. I like green Lays. For example, this company, it is producing like 1 lakh chip packets. I'm talking about 5 rupees chip packets. I will be not buying more than that. Okay, I'm very conjuice. So for example, this Lays company is producing 1 lakh chips packets, and this chips packet will be distributed to different states across our country. So here 1 lakh people, they are buying this Lays and they will be throwing Lays packet here and there. So whose responsibility now to collect those chip packets? Whose responsibility? So here government came up with this concept called as extended producer responsibility. So who is the producer of this Lays packets? That is Lays company. So this Lays company need to collect those chip packets, that is thrown or disposed chip packets. So this concept is called as extended producer responsibility. So there is a need of effective implementation of this extended producer responsibility. So this extended producer responsibility play a pivotal role in promoting this growth of the recycling infrastructure, and we have to focus on waste collection system as well, because if there is no proper waste collection system, means that will lead to a lot of pollution. So because of this, over 20,000 registered producers, importers and brand owners and over 1900 plastic waste processors, they are part of this EPR portal, that is extended producer responsibility portal. And India wants to come up with a framework for the improvement or for the implementation or the effective implementation of this extended producer responsibility now. So since 1970s onwards, so there is a consumption of biological resources happening, but now here there is increased use of this biological resources by 2.5 times. That means we are going for exploitation. So we can also call it as over exploitation of natural resources. And if you're talking about bio waste, so we can talk about municipal waste, we can talk about industrial waste, we can talk about agriculture residue. So what is agriculture residue? So we will be going for the growing of crops. So after once harvest is done, so what happens? So you will be left with the waste. That waste is called as agriculture residue, which has become a global issue as much of it is burned. So most of the time we will be going for stubble burning. So this stubble burning is a very important reason for the rising of pollution in Delhi region in winter season, right? So because of this stubble burning, it will leads to pollution, and even it leads to biodiversity loss, and as well as because of increasing of carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere, it will further leads to global warming. So global warming will leads to climate change. So everything is interconnected, right? So here Government of India, which came with number of schemes to address for the adoption of biofuels. For example, government came up with this Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Yojana. So under this Jeevan Yojana, government is providing financial support to integrated bioethanol projects, and even government came up with 2G bioethanol technology, and it started producing bioethanol from waste feedstock to the crop residues. And even government came up with an orders that is mandated, that is 100% should be implemented by this coal burning thermal power plants. They have to use 5% blend of biomass pellets along with the coal. And even government came up with this Gobar Dhan scheme. So here in this scheme, government want to convert cattle dung and even other organic waste into compost, biogas and biofuels, and government want to promote sustainable agriculture, and on another side we have to reduce pollution as well. And one more scheme here is SATAT scheme, that is Sustainable Alternative Towards Affordable Transportation scheme, and in this scheme government want to promote CBG, that is compressed biogas. So this compressed biogas, it is an alternative green transport fuel. Okay, so in this way we are trying to reduce the pollution, and in this way government came up with number of schemes for the promotion of biofuels. And the next one here is industry coalition. So coalition is nothing but a group, right? So this group will aim to achieve enhanced technological collaboration. So we need to come up with the building of capacities across the sectors, and we have to mobilize de-risked finances, and finally we have to facilitate the proactive private sector engagement. So for all these things, when you want to move from take, make and dispose to reduce, reuse and recycle, so we need help from this type of global platforms like G20. So G20 will be helpful in addressing the key issues, and if all countries are coming together with the collaboration, so they can easily adopt some collaborative approach, research, technology, etc., such that we can go for using of resources efficiently. So it will lead to sustainable development. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let us say next topic, it is about robust institutional mechanisms is very important. So this article which is talking about CHIS, that is Human Controlled Infection Studies. So already we discussed introduction regarding this topic in our yesterday's lecture, and now let us try to see in detail. So what is the context? Recently ICMR. So what this ICMR, that is Indian Council for Medical Research. So in yesterday's lecture we discussed about basic facts or GK regarding this ICMR. If you have not watched yesterday's lecture, so please go back to yesterday's lecture and read that, and this is the last topic that I discussed. So this ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research Bioethics Unit, released a statement, and they are arguing for the need of controlled human infection studies in India. So we have to start this controlled human infection studies in India. So what exactly this controlled human infection studies means? So you know that infections mainly caused by microorganisms. So examples of microorganisms: bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites, etc. So in this study we are taking healthy volunteers. So I will be explaining you this concept as a story. Okay, so I will try to make a story on the line itself. So here we are having volunteers. So these people are healthy volunteers, that means they will be not having any diseases. So we are taking a group of healthy volunteers. So in this group of healthy volunteers we are exposing them to pathogens in a controlled environment. So whenever we are exposing this healthy volunteers to this disease causing organisms in a controlled environment, so that we can understand pathogenesis. Pathogenesis is nothing but the process of disease. Okay, so how this disease is happening. For example, after entering of this virus into body, so what are the changes that is happening in our body? Okay, so how the signs and symptoms are seen, and what is the time period that is taken to get the signs and symptoms, and how the disease progressing day by day. Okay, so this process is called as pathogenesis, and we will be also understanding how transmission of this disease is happening from one person to another person, whether it is a infectious disease or not, whether it is a communicable disease or not, and how we can prevent this disease, and how can we treat this disease. So these are the things that we can understand if you are taking a group of volunteers who are healthy and we are exposing them to the disease causing organisms in a controlled environment. And such studies will be helpful to get insights into how these pathogens are going to affect the human host and how they are causing diseases, and it will be also helpful to understand immune response of the people, whether these people they have immunity or not. So if they are having immunity, so in which people we can see that immunity, that is young people or old people, so how it is having impact on the children, so who are vulnerable, so we can understand all these details. So if you are having the data regarding these details, then we can go for easily preparation or manufacturing of or development of vaccines, and we can also come up with a new treatment plan. So why we need this study? So first one here is 30% of the disease burden in India especially it is because of this infectious diseases. So infectious disease is causing 30% of morbidity and mortality. So it is high rate. And we need to find novel, efficient, cost-effective treatment for these diseases so that we can reduce the financial burden on the families. Because maintaining of health, it is become very costly now. Will you accept it or not? And next one is, in this context, this studies will be helpful for providing a unique insights into disease pathogenesis, and even it can accelerate the development of novel medical interventions. Okay, so if you are talking about what are the issues regarding this study, so there are ethical issues. We don't know that whether the people they will be coming forward for the volunteer to provide the volunteerness to this conducting of this studies or not, because it is having the harm on the health of that people also, because we don't know the exact details like whether it is a deadly or not. So if it is a deadly organism, so if there is a loss of life means what happens? We can't expect, right? So here there are some ethical issues, and there is also disproportionate payment system. So there is nothing like details regarding so how much payment should be given to these volunteers for the studies. If there is any disease which has happened, so what will be the impact? So how the financial incentives will be given? So we don't have that details. And there is also a third party risk. So there is a risk of transmission of these pathogens to the other peoples also. So it may lead to a new pandemic. And research with vulnerable participants is also one important issue. So ensuring that people who are coming as a volunteers are healthy or not. So we don't know that. And even there are some technical and clinical challenges. So ensuring the proper scientific procedures and safety protocols, they are followed in the controlled environment. And there are some legal contingents also. So addressing the potential legal issues, they are related to the participant consent and liability. And there is also socio-cultural context. So considering the unique socio-cultural factors that may impact the acceptability and feasibility of the studies. Okay, so here we are having the different issues regarding this conducting these studies. And next topic, it is about Himachal floods, whether it is a man-made disaster or not. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under disaster management. So let us try to understand whether the recent floods in northern part of our country, whether it is a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. So why I am saying it is a disaster? Because of this flash floods in northern part of our country, that led to damage to the life and as well as property or assets in Himachal Pradesh. So death toll has reached or crossed 150, and there is estimated loss, it is about rupees 10,000 crore. So you can understand the range of damage, it is very, very high. So here experts they say is that the important reason behind this torrential rainfall here is because of climate change, because of high rainfall. So because of heavy rainfall or precipitation, that led to flash floods and that led to disaster. And not only this, even human induced disaster we can call it as. And now we are going to see why it is called as human induced disaster. So is this climate change it is only the reason or not? So let me know your opinion whether only the climate change is reason or whether human made activities are also the reasons for this disaster. Okay, so please let me know in the comment box. So recently IPCC's 6th assessment report, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change Assessment Report, which stated that Himalayas and coastal regions of India, they will be hardest hit by the climate change. So in Himalayas, there are some noticeable pattern of increased precipitation. So this is the thing which mainly said in that report. And not only this IPCC report, but even IMD, that is Indian Meteorological Department, data also says that the normal rainfall during this period is expected, that is around 720 mm to 750 mm. But in some certain circumstances, there is heavy rainfall that recorded. So because of this heavy rainfall, that led to the flash floods. So now let us try to see what are the human-made causes. So actually in this Himachal Pradesh development model which started in 1971. So actually you know that if you see the location of this Himachal Pradesh, it is located in the mountain state. It is one of the mountain state, and you know that this Himalayas, they are, even today there is increasing the height of Himalayas is happening. They are tectonically active and they are not much stable. So whenever we are going for development in this tectonically active areas or unstable areas, that will lead to disaster, right? So the development model of this Himachal Pradesh is called as Dr. Parmar model. So it is named after the chief minister of that time. So they focused on land reforms, they focused on state-led investment in social welfare, and they also focused on human resources. And because of all these development thing that happened in Himachal Pradesh, that led Himachal Pradesh to rank second in social development indices. And later on in 1980s, so they focused on electricity. So not only electricity, but they focused on connectivity projects, and they focused on healthcare centers, and at that time schools also came into picture, and there were major advancements seen in agriculture as well, and they shifted the crop pattern as well, right? So what happened even in 1990s after liberalization, so here central government also came up with development in this Himachal Pradesh, and they came up with fiscal reforms, and even they focused on fiscal management of this Himachal Pradesh. And because of this liberalization, and when they focused on this fiscal management, so they started exploiting the natural resources. Natural resource or exploiting, for example, forests, for example, water, tourism, cement production. So these are the major focus of development after this 1990s. And even they came up with the rapid construction of hydropower projects across this Himalayan river system, right? And they also came up with widening of roads, and without the proper geoengineering assessments, they came up with expansion of cement plants, and they came up with the shifting of agriculture practices. Because of all these things, they have negative impact on the landscape of Himachal Pradesh and even river systems. So these are the some important reasons for the devastating impact of floods now. So because of uncontrolled construction of hydropower projects that transformed mountain rivers into mere streams, right? And because of establishment of cement plants and extensive cutting of mountains in districts like Bilaspur, Solan, Chamba, they also resulted in significant land use changes. So they also contributed to the flash floods during the rainfall. So what is the need now? What can be done? So we can come up with taking or empowering these local communities with a new architecture. So whatever the losses that faced in the form of culverts, village drains, small bridges, schools, other social infrastructure, they must be compensated now. And with climate change, actually you know that this climate change is happening, and this climate change is reality now. On another side, human activities are also leading to the changes and disasters. So here we need to come up with the proper planning of infrastructure, taking disasters into an account. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us see next topic. It is about biodiversity bill. So context here is Lok Sabha passed this biological diversity amendment bill 2021 despite of opposition party doing protest. And this bill, which is aims to make some changes to Biological Diversity Act of 2002. So here we have to know what exactly this act talks about. So this act, which is having an important aim to conserve India's biological diversity. So first one is we are focusing on conserving of biological diversity, and second one is we are focusing on ensuring the sustainable use of biological resources, and we are focusing on even use of traditional and genetic resources, and we are going to share with the local communities as well. So we need a prior consent approval for the local communities for the fair and equitable manner. And this act, it is outcome of Convention of Biological Diversity Act of 1992. And this act, which is also focusing on providing the benefits, and is also focusing on use of traditional knowledge, and that should benefit the communities. Okay, we have to focus on access and benefiting the sharing amount that can be used for conservation activities. So these are the some important benefits of this act, and these are the some provisions of this act. So what are the changes that we are going to have? What are the salient provisions of this bill? So this bill exempt registered Ayush medical practitioners from giving prior intimation to state biodiversity boards, and they have to access biological resources for certain purposes. And this bill exempts cultivated medicinal plants under the purview, and this bill which facilitates fast tracking of research and patent application process. And even if there are any violations, so there is a stringent provisions of punishment is also given here. And this bill which also allows foreign investment in research and development in this biodiversity. So these are the changes. So what are the advantages? So we will go for boosting of Indian medicine system. That means we can go for fast patent filing, and we can also encourage the farmers to increase the cultivation of medicinal plants, and even we can empower the local communities regarding how to utilize the resources, particularly those plants which are having the medicinal value. And this bill is exempted to reduce the pressure on wild medicinal plants, and we can also encourage cultivation of this medicinal plants as well. And this bill which is also focusing to expand the composition of board, okay, and even the changes which proposed by this bill, they are exempted to provide the conducive business environment. So why? Because we are going for simplifying of this patent process, and there is also increasing of scope of access and benefit sharing with the local communities as well. And we are focusing on research and investments. So in this way here we can also have a conducive business environment. And next topic, it is about inflation because of India's decision to ban non-basmati rice exports to other countries. And this topic is important from your economy point of view. So if you see context, it says that India's move to restrict exports of certain types of rice that could exacerbate food price inflation. So this is a thing not said by me or my team, but it's said by IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. So remember the homework I said to find some GK points regarding this IMF. So here details says that India's move would have an effect similar to that of suspension of Ukraine Black Sea grain export deal. So actually Russia came up with this deal called as Black Sea grain export, but recently Russia came up with banning of this. So because of this there will be no exports of food grains from the ports, right? So what happened? Because of this, what happened? There is decreased supply of these food grains to other countries, so that will lead to inflation. So this is the thing which said by IMF. So how the impact of this ban of Black Sea grain initiative is happening? The same impact that we can see now because of the decision of this government of India. So that will lead to increasing of volatility of food prices in the market, and that will lead to food insecurity globally. So if you see what is the news recently, so as you all know that India is the biggest exporter of rice in the world. So here government of India took a decision to ban this non-basmati white rice to the other countries. So India decided to ban all exports of majority of types of rice to the other countries. And because of this, what happened? So what is the impact? So we can maintain the price stability in the domestic market, that is in Indian market we can maintain the price stability, but in the international market there is decreased flow of rice, and because of that, that will lead to increase in the price, that will lead to global inflation. So what are the reasons why India took that? Because of uneven rainfall, there is a production shortfall, there is decreased production. And because of this, here government came up with a ban to make there is adequate supply of rice in the Indian market, so that there will be no price rise. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. Before that, I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod size, we came up with this daily mains answer writing practice course, and the new batch, it is going to be started from August 1st. So if you see the key highlights of this course, so here we are going to cover each and every topic from your GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 along with essay and case study. Daily one question is given based on the schedule, and you have to write answer and you have to send your answer to our mail ID in PDF format, so that the correction will be done in this way as it is done in offline. And we are going to provide the model answer and detailed explanation or a detailed evaluation of your answer is done. And there will be live doubt clearing sessions on every Sunday. and we will be discussing answers, how can you write for that questions, and what are the key points that you have to incorporate, and how can you improve your presentation. And we will be also showing you the students evaluated papers, so that you can get new ideas like how can you improve your presentation. And the cost of this course here is 8,200 for 1 year, and it is accessible and affordable for all. So try to join this course. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call me on this number 8074765513, and this is also WhatsApp number and Telegram number. You can also text me there. Okay, so now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu. Date is July 26 and today is Wednesday. So first topic, it is about opposition plans no trust motion against government, Modi government. So here you have to know what is this no trust motion. So please let me know in the comment box. And next one is arrived at consensus on ties in Bali, China. So actually our Prime Minister and President of China, they came up with the talks, and they want to restore bilateral ties during the meeting that we had in Bali. Okay, so here you have to know about what is the issues between India and China relations. You can write about the water war, you can write about model cities development across Arunachal Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh India border, Arunachal Pradesh China border. You can write about the territorial dispute between India and China. You can write about CPEC. Okay, and you can write about increasing of Chinese aggressiveness also. And if you move on in the states page, you can see this article, Sri Lankan Navy arrests 9 Tamil Nadu fishers, seizes 2 boats. So always there will be the issue between India and Sri Lanka regarding fishermen. So here you have to know what is the reasons for the fishermen issue and what is the possible solution for this. And if you move forward, here you can see this great news regarding Chandrayaan 3, that is final orbit raising maneuver of Chandrayaan completed. And now here from this orbit we have to push this Chandrayaan 3 towards moon's orbit. So it is called as lunar transfer trajectory. So here ISRO, which says that successfully we had completed 5th or final orbit raising maneuver. So this is the first orbit, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Now Chandrayaan 3, it is in this 5th orbit. Okay, and now from this orbit we have to push that towards orbit of moon. So that process is called as lunar transfer trajectory. So this lunar transfer trajectory will be done on August 1st, and we have to see. And in editorial page I discussed about this topic regarding Rajasthan's platform based ZIG Workers Registration Welfare Act, and I discussed this topic regarding controlled human infection studies, and I discussed this topic regarding G20 to shift from the take, make, dispose model to reuse, reduce and recycle model. And there is one article that I left for you, that is what this is consensual sex, that is age of consent for sex. And here this data point which shows about moon missions offer a tough test, landers the toughest. So out of this moon missions, only 40% of the moon missions have been failed, and 60% of lander missions have been unsuccessful. So here we have to see whether this Chandrayaan 3 will be successful or not. So this time we have a stronger lander, so that we are expecting that there will be soft landing on lunar surface, and we have to wait and see. And the text and context, I discussed about this Himachal Pradesh article. And if you move on to this news page, here I discussed about this biological diversity bill. And here you can see this article which is regarding MG Narega scheme. You have to see some basic facts regarding this MG Narega. And in the economy page you can see this topic, that is inflation may resurge to 6% in July as food prices soar. So there is increasing of food prices, especially the price of tomato, which is very high, and even oil prices is also very high. So because of this we can see there might be increasing of inflation. And I discussed this topic regarding Indian rice curbs could spur inflation. And there is one more article regarding IMF, that is IMF forecast came. So IMF came up with a forecast, and India lifts India's growth forecast that to 6.1%. Okay, so here you have to see some facts regarding IMF. And these are some important articles that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much, and try to subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy. so that you will be getting lot of informational videos which will be helpful for your preparation for UPSC and other state service examinations also. And if you like this video, hit the like button and try to share this video to your friends. Thank you so much.